Good morning, folks, and welcome to the Firm U, a private personal training facility here in Houston, Texas. Today's subject or episode is going to be on how I conduct my free health and fitness consultations. One of the greatest tools I have, or the best tools I have, is a bioimpedance scale. It's called a Tenea scale. You can see it's up here on the screen. And what this does, when you come to see me, we discuss your health and fitness goals. Now we have our New Year's resolutions coming up here for 2022. So everybody's pretty geared up to start switching modes and get into a healthier lifestyle. And that's what I teach here. It's not just lifting weights and counting to 15 to 20 repetitions, but it's also to show you the lifestyle that I lead, and it's worked for me. I mean, how many people can say that they've been on a New Year's resolution for 18 years? I can. Most people can say they can't say they've been on a New Year's resolution for 18 days. By the way, folks, what was your New Year's resolution last year? Should be on it still, shouldn't you? That's why they call it a resolution. Well, if you're not, you need to come to see me and watch what I have to offer, or see what I have to offer, just to change things up and do it the right way. Just think of all the money you spent on all these gadgets and devices and diets that never work. You know, what happened to the shake weight, the Thigh Master, all those things that cost $19.95. If you added that up over 10 years, come to see me to get it done right. Sounds like a deal to me. Anyway, so what I do is I discuss your goals, your fitness goals. We go over your medications if you're on any medications. There's a lot of preventable medications that I have gotten several people off, or tens of dozens of people off of preventable medications. I've gotten a lot of people off of diabetes medication, high blood pressure medication, things like that. Those are preventable or environmental prescriptions that not medication alone. They can help medicate or help keep control over it, but you never really recover from it. We're not born on this earth to take medications. Okay, now, some of that are not preventable that we have to take, but we can get rid of a lot of those just by staying healthy and changing a few things. I'm not out there to change your whole life around. When I work on nutrition, I have people take pictures of what they're eating now. I don't want to give them a piece of paper and say, here's your diet. Heck, that'd be crazy. Why start all over again? I call it diet development. You just don't do it all in one day. I focus mostly on the weight training itself. To begin all that, after we fill out a health and fitness assessment form, and we go over that, we look at all your limitations and any kind of injuries or things that you need to have rehabbed. We'll look at that and address that, and I will come up with a fitness program or a weight training program to cover all that and to make you more symmetrical and to balance your body all together. So one of the things I do is I have people take their shoes and socks off, stand on the scale after I put in some information. I put your birth date in there, your height, and things like that. And what it does is when you stand on the scale barefooted, it sends a signal through your feet, up through your body, and back down. Now, muscle has a conductor with water in it. So the faster the signal goes up through the muscle, the faster it comes down. So that's going to give you a higher body mass index or muscle index, where fat has hardly or no water in it, and it slows the signal down. And that's how it determines the difference between how much muscle you have in your body and how much fat you have in your body. The bioimpedance scale also tells me how much water you have. So when people get up in the morning and they go to weigh themselves, the first thing they look at is, did I gain or lose a pound? Well, unless you gained or burned 3,500 calories in your sleep, you're not going to gain a pound. You're not going to lose a pound of fat. It's physiologically impossible. Now, if you ate Chinese food the night before and you have all that sodium and all that processed food in your body, it's going to make inflammation grow, and inflammation grows in the form of water. So your intestines, your organs, your blood vessels, and everything else gets inflamed with water, and that's why you gain a couple pounds. Okay, most people weigh themselves in the morning because they know they're going to be lighter then. You know, you're more dehydrated. But a lot of times, even the dehydration doesn't get rid of the inflammation that you have ate that day before. So that's why you can drive yourself crazy. You're going to have a good day by weighing this amount, or a bad day by weighing this amount. Okay, so that's how that works. What I do is I cut straight through all the, all the fads and all the things that you read in magazines, and I get right down to the science and the physiology of it and explain it in a way that you can understand. And that makes you a better client because you buy in to the science. Once you understand the science of the way your body works, and we don't have to get into it real deep. Most people just want to come in and lift weights and work out and feel good about themselves. And what I do is I just teach what is a good choice and what is a bad choice as far as food or even your lifestyle. It's up to you to make that decision whether you're going to, take another option or just stay with the same thing that you've been doing for forever. Okay? The weight training is going to help. Not only does it build muscle, but it also builds bone. And also your range of motion and balance and flexibility I work on with all my clients. And, so that you have a better quality of life. I don't want to get old and be relying on, friends and relatives to, take care of me. That's the last thing I want to have done. So now's the time to take care of yourself. Okay, and beginning of the year is a great time. That's when everybody, decides, okay, well, I was kind of bad during the holidays. Now it's time to catch up, and that's where I can come in and help you. Anyway, so after we go over your goals and things that you want to achieve, I get you on my bioimpedance scale. It's a Tenea. And what you do is you get on, you can see that this lady right here is a 50-year-old female. She's 5'7". Her weight, okay, according to the scale, and probably her bathroom scale, is 234.4 pounds. Okay, so she's pretty big. Okay, so we look at her body mass index, and body mass index is an old school way to find out, well, if you're 5'7" and you weigh 234 pounds, your body fat must be 36.7. That's all that means. It's not a very accurate number at all. Okay, so that's just a number that your doctor might use as in a chart, or the insurance companies might use to find out your risk factors. That's all that is. It really doesn't mean anything. For an example, my BMI is just over 30% because I'm 5'7" and 195. So my body fat percentage is just over or right around 30% body fat, which incidentally, anything over 30% body fat is the first stage of clinical obesity. That's when things like hypertension, high blood pressure, prediabetes, insulin resistance, diabetes, that's when you're more at risk. And it depends on age and also the card you were dealt when you were born, and what runs in the family and who sat at the dinner table, basically. So those things are easily changed too. All right, the other thing I look at is your actual body fat percentage. Right here, her actual body fat percentage was 46.9, or is 46.9 at that time. So you can see there's a big difference between being 5'7" and weighing 234, but the actual body fat percentage is 46.9. So what I would say to this client is, okay, first thing we want to do is get you under 30%. Okay, now how much weight would you have to lose to get to that? Well, everybody's a little bit different, and it depends on muscle, it depends on water, and we'll go through that in a minute. Okay, the next thing I look at is body fat mass. Okay, this is how much fat you have. If I was to cut off all your fat and put it on a platter, on this lady, it would be 110 pounds of actual fat. Okay, now it's not all in one spot. Sometimes it feels like that, but it's not all in one spot. It's marbled throughout your body. Okay, and the way we lose fat is pretty much at the same time everywhere. Now, where you have more concentration of fat, of course, it's going to take longer to lose that fat there. In men, it's usually around the stomach area and the hind lower back. For women, it's usually below the waist, in your thighs, butt, and that's just from a not genetic, but a gender perspective. Now, I always use this saying, and I have it printed on my wall, is that your parents are responsible for your shape. So if you were passed down the same DNA as they have, you might have an apple shape, which is mostly around the middle, or an hourglass or a pear shape, which is heavier on the bottom. And men have that too. It goes both ways. It's not as common, but it does go both ways. So your parents are responsible for your shape, but ladies and gentlemen, you are responsible for the shape that you're in. And in conjunction with my assistance, we can fix all that, okay? Can't fix DNA, but we can really enhance you in the other categories. So this body fat range puts her in the obese category. Now, like I mentioned before, anything over 30% is clinically obese. And again, that's where preventable conditions happen, like I mentioned before, diabetes and so on. That can be all reversed by getting down past that 30%. Now, it's not always 100%. Some people can have body fat in the teens and still be type 2 diabetic. And that's what I'm talking about when I talk about diabetes, is type 2. Type 1, you're basically born with, okay? You take insulin. Type 2 is preventable, and it's also curable. Okay, and I did say curable. Okay, not just by medication. Medication alone is not going to do it. Or you're going to have a long journey, I should say. The diet and exercise is the best prescription you're ever going to get from anybody. Okay, so anyway, that requires a little bit of work and a little bit of help or science-based advice from me. Okay, let's move down to the next category. Fat-free mass. Fat-free mass is everything but adipose or fat tissue in your body. Okay, so let's put this aside. Remember I mentioned I was going to cut off all your fat and weigh 110 pounds, according to this graph. Well, what's left over is mostly muscle, your bones, your blood vessels, your organs, things of that nature. But it's mostly muscle. Muscle is what creates the burning of fat, or mostly creates the burning of fat. Fat burns in the muscle cell. Okay, so the more muscle you have, the more fat you can burn at rest. And I did say at rest. You don't burn as much fat when you're exercising. You burn it when you rest. So what is the purpose of exercise? The purpose of exercise is to stimulate the muscle to break down, or to catabolize, break down, and to rest and recover and anabolize or build up. That increases your overall or basal metabolic rate. That's the whole purpose of exercise. Okay, now if you've never heard that from another trainer, you might want to think about, what that trainer knows, and if it's never been explained to you, that's the way it works. By the way, where does fat leave your body? Does anybody know? Is it through urination? Is it through sweat? A little bit, but not much. It's mostly from CO2, carbon dioxide. We breathe out the fat. Okay, point in case, if you blew up in a balloon and you blew it up, and then you just tied it in a knot, And then you take dry ice and put it all over the balloon, so the balloon starts to shrink and freezes the content inside, which is the CO2 or the air that you're breathing out. You will find there's some water in there, and you'll see these little crystals. Those crystals are your fat molecules leaving your body. So when you hear that term, oh, we're going to melt fat off your body, well, it doesn't really melt. It comes out your mouth in the form of carbon dioxide. Anyway, so there's an experiment you can look up on YouTube where they actually do that. They blow up a balloon and you can see the fat molecules inside the balloon with some water that we breathe out too. So, and the rest, that's like 86% of the fat that we lose comes out your breath or your mouth or CO2. And like I said, a little bit of water. And then some of that comes from sweat, urine, and feces and all kinds of stuff like that. So anyway, so now we look at your water percentage in your body. Now, this lady here is at 38.8% as far as water in her body. She should be around 50% water. Everybody should be at least 50% water. 45 to 50% for women, 50 to 65% water in your body for men. Okay? Now, that doesn't mean drinking a gallon of water, all day long is going to bring your water weight up. That's not the way it works. Water is a diuretic. Diuretic meaning that it's going to go right through you. So how much water should we drink a day? I don't know. Are you thirsty? Drink when you're thirsty. That's what I drink. I don't drink a whole lot of water during the day because I don't have to. I get a lot of water from food and I'm not thirsty. Nobody tells me how many times I should go to the bathroom. I go when I get the signal, just like everybody else should. Right? So, you go to the bathroom when you got to go, you drink when you got to drink. Now, you can look at it the other way. You can flip things around and say, well, if I drink a lot of water, I'll get rid of a lot of toxics. That's correct. You will. Okay, so if you want to go ahead that way, first thing I would do is clean up my diet so I wouldn't have a lot of toxins to begin with. That's number one. Number two, if you don't mind going to the bathroom every, 20 minutes, then, drink away. But for me, I don't really require a lot of water. And my water percentage is anywhere from 62 to 67% saturation in my muscles, not inflammation. It's in the muscle cell. And there's a big difference between the saturation of water in your muscle as opposed to your interstitial tissue that's between your skin and the muscle. Okay, so you want to get it inside the muscle. Here's another fact, is when you start lifting weights, your body automatically, or your muscle will automatically start storing a little bit more water. And the reason why it does that is that water can store more glycogen. The glycogen is the energy source that powers your muscle, or sugar. Okay? So that sugar goes into the muscle, cleans up your blood of sugar. If you have a lot of, if you're pre-diabetic, or your glucose levels or A1C is high, when you lift weights, you break down the sugar inside the muscle. Through the bloodstream, if you have sugar, that sugar is going to go to that muscle receptor, clean your blood up from sugar, and also reducing your sugar intake is going to help a whole lot. Okay, so it reduces your sugar in your blood. So your body is forced to use fat for energy. That's the whole science behind that. And I said science. It's not a theory. It's science. That's the way your body loses fat. Okay, so that's what I do for my clients, and that's what I do for myself. I've been in 80 bodybuilding contests, and I placed in the top 3 at least 7 times. I think they're getting so sick of me, they're going to give me first place one day, but it just hasn't happened yet. And I'm at 62 years old. Okay, so I'm not any spring chicken out there. Okay, anyway, so we go down to the body water mass. That number right there is 91 pounds for this lady. Again, she weighs 234 pounds, and of that 32 pounds, she has 91 pounds of water, H2O. All right, now we don't know because we can't compare this to another weigh-in, but since she's at 38% water, that's a little bit dehydrated, which is telling me she's probably skipping meals, which is not a good thing. When you skip meals, you force your body to go into a famine alert. Oh my God, we're not going to eat again. So a lot of times, or it depends how severe you don't eat, your liver is going to produce the sugar so that you can actually um, function. Okay? And when that happens, it signals the pancreas to send out insulin to bond with now its glucose from your liver, not from your digestive system or small intestines. Okay? It's coming from your liver. But that liver, the sugar from your liver gets burned off real quick because you're not eating. So what happens is that insulin gets caught in your bloodstream and it's looking around for a glucose molecule that just got used up because you're not eating any food. Food is what for? Energy, not just for taste tests. It's for energy. So what happens is that insulin gets caught in your bloodstream, and it's a physiological fact that if you have large amounts of insulin in your body, number one, you're going to be tired as heck. Number two, you can't burn fat no matter what you do. Okay, until that's all cleaned up. And the way to clean that up is to weight train. Weight training makes you hungry, which is fine. You just got to know what to eat. Okay, and I have solutions for all these issues or problems. You know, I have food services, marigold bars, which are great tasting. It feels like you're cheating all the time, and things like that. And I give you a packet of all the information that we go over, and I hand that packet of information to you, and you think it over. There's no high pressure thing. I don't have to. I'm in a position where I don't have to try to sell somebody on something. If you sit with me for an hour, and you know, if it's, I'm not for everybody. If you don't get the message through that hour, think it over, and go to other places, try other things. Okay, because a lot of times they come back to me because I'm going to be your last stop. The last thing that we're going to look at here is your basal metabolic rate. Okay, and this is at 1,757. That's 1,757 calories this lady burns at rest in a 48-hour period of time. Okay, so at that many calories, that's pretty good. So 1,700 calories being burnt just by laying in a coma, basically. Okay, so that's all 11 of her function: digestive system, muscular system, endocrine system. All of her systems together equals the basal metabolic rate. Now here's where weight training comes in as opposed to cardio. If you ever watch in the beginning of the year, people come into a gym and all the cardio equipment is taken up. And you look at these people for weeks on end, and you don't really see much change. You don't see hardly any change. As a matter of fact, it's the numbers of people on the cardio equipment start to diminish, because what's happening is all they're doing is burning the sugar in their blood and never getting down to the fat cells. Okay, so in order to get down to the fat cells, you have to create a metabolic effect. The weight training, by breaking down the muscle, breaks down the muscle, like I mentioned before, catabolism, anabolism. It adds to your basal metabolic metabolism total. So instead of just burning 1,757 calories in a 48-hour period, she would be burning at least 18, maybe 19, because it takes more calories to repair muscle. So you're in that state of another metabolic mode. Where if you do cardio, say you burn 500 calories in cardio, that's a good hour cardio going pretty hard. Okay? Once you walk out that door, you're done. You have burned all the calories you're going to burn off of that. And also cardio is going to make you hungrier too. And you go back to eating what you ate before to get yourself back in the first place. Okay? So what I teach through the science books or physiology books is how to break down the muscle and have it rest and repair. I burn more calories at rest than I do when I'm doing exercise. And that's the way it should be, because we rest much longer than we can work out. Let's go back to the person that burns 500 calories. Remember I mentioned earlier in the video, it takes 3,500 calories to burn a pound of fat. Well, at 500 calories per session, you'd have to work out 7 days a week, burning 500 calories to lose an actual pound of fat, not water, an actual pound of fat. I don't know anybody works out that much. Myself in the off season, when I'm not getting ready for a contest, I don't work out 7 days a week. No. And I certainly wouldn't want to waste it all on cardio when I can work out in half as many days and get myself in a metabolic state and have my body work for itself rather than me working, turning over tires and climbing up ropes and running through cones. You know, I'm 62 years old. I don't want to do that. And you don't have to at any age. You know, you just need to know the science behind how your body works and have your body work for itself. Give it the opportunity to work for itself. Most people overtrain. That's why they don't see any results. You know, if you're doing full body workouts every day, when do you get a chance to rest? Rest and recovery is one of the most important parts of or components in your setting your goals or achieving your goals. Achieving your goals. So I hope this this all helps people out to understand how to lose fat weight, not just water weight. Okay, anybody can lose water. It's pretty easy. You can not eat and become insulin resistant, and then you're going to end up heavier than you were before. I can guarantee you. Or you can do it the right way. Get it done right the first time, instead of spending all this money over the years and getting back in that same rut. I'm going to be good for 5 days, and then Friday comes along, one of your friends call you up or colleagues and says, hey, let's go out for a drink or dinner or something like that, and then that turns into another dinner or outing, and then you go again. I'll start on Monday. Monday comes around, you start on Monday, and the whole series goes over and over and over, and it goes by year too. Okay, like I said, last year you should be on the same New Year's resolution. You should never have changed. I haven't. Okay, and I got the tools in my toolbox to give you the opportunity to get this done, knock it out, and live a healthy lifestyle that is sustainable. That's the word right there. Is sustainable, that you can live with. Okay, I don't change a whole lot of things. I just make you aware of things. Being aware of things is a diet in itself. Okay, and again, you can learn a lot from an older guy here. All right. Anyway, I hope that this video was helpful. If it was, please subscribe to other videos like this. Give me a thumbs up if you liked it. And any other questions, I've got my information down below. And you can go ahead and send me an email. And this is Ray Bassett signing out from the Firm U here in Houston. And Happy New Year. And I hope all your resolutions and dreams come true. See you next time.